All right, so welcome. We are here in this place this morning, and we come to the breath. So, whatever you've done already this morning, or if you're newly rolled out of bed, you settle. If you haven't already done a nice manual inner rotation, so you roll to the frontmost and innermost edge of your sits bones, you can do this in a chair, on blocks, any way that suits your body today. Close your eyes, and you know the drill. Check in with the physical body. What's going on? Or as Tacky the Penguin says, what's happening? And as you scan the physical body, deepen the breath, lengthen the breath, in and out through the nose. And scan your energy body, your subtle body. How are you feeling? What's going on there? This is, I think a lot of us, I know I am, a lot of us are on edge because of what's going on nationally in the country. Even if we're not like openly saying, this worries me, I'm upset, it's just an edgy time right now. More than ever, it's like elections usually have been snooze fest in some ways. And now we're just not sure. So we breathe into that uncertainty. The ground beneath us has always been shifting. It's just we haven't had to notice it as much as we do now. Nothing has ever been certain, steady, constant. As the saying goes, the only thing certain is change. So notice the changes in your body, in your moods, in your energy level, and then breathe into them. Breathe the box breath, the 4-part breath, where you're inhaling for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. And the counts can be as fast as you want them to be, as you need them to be. Again, if you find yourself gasping for breath or feeling in any way uncomfortable, for me, that means that I'm just not relaxed yet enough. So I shorten the breath, make it smaller, maybe even do a 2, 2, 2, and 2. Let's make it even, steady. So the 1-to-1 ratio breath is about steadiness, about stability. And you manage the breath with a light touch. There's nothing heavy. Face is soft. Notice if sometimes we start to concentrate so much that the wrinkle forms between the eyebrows. We pinch our eyes together, jam our back teeth together. Face is very soft. And I tend to want to say just breathing, but shaping the breath is more challenging than shaping the body. And we know how challenging it is to shape the body, to move, stretch, strengthen. And then once you find yourself more stable, things have settled down, then you can move to the calming. So we need to be stable. We need to feel safe. before we can fully activate the parasympathetic nervous system to bring in calm. The calm then is the 1 to 2 ratio breath. So you inhale for 4. You can hold for 4 unless that's uncomfortable, manage that. And then exhale for 8. Now again, if you find yourself grasping for breath and struggling, then back it off a little bit. Inhale for 3, exhale for 6. Or inhale for 2, exhale for 4. Sometimes when I've been really ramped up, I have to start with a 2 by 2 breath, a 1 to 1 ratio where I'm just inhaling 2, exhaling 2 until I calm down. Then I can slowly expand the numbers, slowly expand the exhale. And if the exhale is not yet twice as long as your inhale, then just let it be what it's going to be. And on your next exhale, don't rush it, just wait until your next exhale comes. Release and go back to your normal breath and notice that it's likely a little more easeful, a little more effortless. Draw your palms together in front of your heart center. One soft Om to begin practice. Inhale, exhale, cleansing breath. Inhale to Om. Release your hands, flutter your eyes open. Let's start standing. How about it? It's a little chilly this morning. Let's build heat. All right, we'll work the feet in a minute, but let's get the shoulders open. Find your strap. Pull it wide. Oh, got a knot. All right. Need to change my camera angle a bit. All right. Pull it out. Legs are strong. Notice that the ribs want to pop up. So pull the ribs in. Engage the core already. And then pull the strap apart as hard as you can and pull down with the elbows. And as you press down from the core of the pelvis, rise up and curl back. And release. Back up to the wall like Ruby's doing. And back up. Your heels are not on the baseboard, but your bum is. And if you have no bum, your heel might be on the baseboard. So not that there's a judgment, just notice what's going on. Feet parallel and steady. And if you're feeling unsteady, widen your stance a little bit, soften the knees so you're ready. Now, imagine you've got like lots of sandbags hanging off your waist. So your legs are pressing into the earth. It's really heavy in the lower part of the body. Connect xiphoid to tailbone, zip it up, pull it in, and then rise up. Press the center back of your head on the wall. And as you push down from the legs, lift up with the chest, but the bottom ribs do not come with you. Bottom ribs stay down. Now bend the elbows and start to move the elbows. They may or may not touch the wall. In my case, not so much, maybe this way, but otherwise my elbow, but just press the back of the head, lift the chest. The shoulder blades are off the wall. You're pulling the shoulder blades as far away from the wall as you can, lifting the sternum up to the ceiling and release. Step away from the wall about an inch or two. No bum on the wall this time. Lift up, shrug the shoulders, move the head of the arm bones back, and take the center back of the head and your elbows to the wall. So now you're in more of a cobra pose, a gentle cobra pose, not by lifting the chin. So your center back of the head is pushing in, the elbows are on the wall, and you're pushing your chest off the wall, lower body heavy. Keep that, lift the arms and pull them back. Keep lifting the sternum to the ceiling. More sternum, Shelley. Lift, ah, there you go. The inner thighs are moving towards the wall and wide apart. Ah, you feel that? I love this. And release. Warms us quite up if we stand long enough and have the arms overhead. Let's roll out the feet. Wake them up. All right. Press and roll. Working through the sole of the foot, pressing each point, finding the tender ones, putting your weight as firmly on the ball as you can. And then rinse from heel to toe, back and forth, and then scribble. Wake it up. Go back to some spot that needs a little more love and release. Stand. Ah. One leg's awake, one leg still in bed. Switch sides and press. Start at the base of the big toe, work across the leathery part. Much weight for just press and release, and start to work on the really tender part. I forgot this on Tuesday, I realize. My feet have been complaining ever since. Down, press it in, work the heel, leathery part of the heel, and then rinse. And scribble. And release. Pick up the ball. Press between the hands. And start to work around the circumference of the palms, then the center, and then roll back and forth. And then just stand and notice, for me, the tingling just moves up the hands, the fingers into the arms. Release. Now, just notice what your chest is feeling. We'll roll that out. It's cold. We're starting to hunch over. So we work it in, work in that little triangle right here, right at the crease of the armpit. That's very tender for me. And then underneath the collarbone, so not on the bone, that will not feel comfortable. But find the tender spots, roll it out. And find the spot that is the tenderest. You may say, oh, that's going to be hard. But find a tender spot, let's put it that way. Yeah, there you go. We got it out of Dan. He found it. When you make that noise, you found it. And then release and stand and notice that side. In fact, your shoulders look different. I can just look over at Sherry, and this shoulder's like backing up. This one's like, I don't know, not that much, but there's a little difference. So switch, so we don't look funny, walk funny, open it up, yeah. And you may find that the spot on this side is a little bit different place. It may be the same, but it may be a different place. Maybe higher up, maybe lower, down. Moving to pec, the pec minor, these little pectoral muscles that get so tight when we get cold often. We work on the computer too much, sit too much. Everything rounds in. All right. Oh, all right, release and stand. Both now are open. Yeah, nice. Pick up your strap again. A lot of bending up and down to get your strap. That just warms you up, that in and of itself. a few inches behind, like maybe the thumbs touch, maybe they don't, but about hip width or less if your shoulders are really tight, a little bit wider, but not too wide. And then stand well. Again, the feet are a little wider apart. That's for stability. So think about it. This is more like 1 point. So we're going to be tippier. So a little farther apart gives us some stability. Press down through the soles of the feet. Hug the heels towards each other. The inner thighs go way back and widen the inner thighs apart. Do you feel that when you try to widen the inner thighs apart, the low belly starts to tone and you feel it engage? That's where you want to find that. And then tailbone lengthens down. Keep the legs strong, keep them soft, and fold either half forward or full forward bend. Keep pulling the low belly up and in. Don't let it get soft. And lift the arms overhead. Inhale halfway up. Take a breath. Next, inhale all the way up. And then from here, legs are strong, bottom ribs in, head of the arm bones move back, heads back like you're on the wall. Now lift the arms and little lower, not a lot of lower, little lift, little lower. And notice if I lift too much, here's what will happen because I'm trying to lift. So keeping everything in alignment, just work in that spot that you need to work on. It's right for your shoulders. Ooh, nice. So Shelly, you have, when you do that, everything lifts. It's nice. Do that a lot. Release. All right. Now let's go. Step to the top of your mat. Have your blocks near you. And stand well from the whole. So yeah, Ruby, you can do the sun salutation things at the wall. Perfect. She's my poster child. She just knows it. She has good body memory. It's amazing. All right, lift all 10 toes, press through the 4 corners of the feet. Hug the heels towards each other isometrically. Press the shins forward energetically, so a micro bend in the back of the knees. Inner knees are moving apart. Inner thighs, move them apart. And the inner thighs move back, tailbone down, keeping all of that. The toes slide along the floor and rise up on your inhale, arms high. Exhale, bow forward, upside down letter L at the wall or regular, or all the way down. Inhale, step your right leg back, straight leg lunge. So Ruby, your left toes come to the wall, right leg goes back. Check your stance. So Ruby, you're a little bit on tightrope, which means widen your left foot out to the left there, a little more stability. Lift your back heel and scissor the legs. So you're in lunge, scissor the legs, light on the fingertips, wherever you are. And then exhale, bend the back knee, straighten the front leg. Inhale, back to lunge, back and forth. Just check that when you come into lunge, that your front knee does not come forward of your ankle. Protect your knee joints, you know, they're important. Light on the fingertips or practice balance on the back of your sacrum. Lift the head of the arm bones so they're not rolling down. Center back of the head's moving up towards the ceiling. Oh, that just adds another level of insult to injury. Oh, and release. Step the back foot up a little bit so all your weight comes onto your front leg, your left leg. And then slide your blocks out and lift the leg. Ruby, what you'll do is walk back like you're doing forward bend and lift your right leg behind you. There you go. Ooh, and you're even using blocks. Cool. Square your hips. So everybody press through the soles of your feet. Lengthen the legs, lengthen it. Flex your foot, Shelly. Flex the foot. There you go. Nice. And roll the outer right hip down to the floor. I know, right? And come in for a landing. Enough of that. Hands on your hips, come up halfway. Shrug your shoulders, lift the head of the arm bones. Then on your inhale, rise all the way up, stretch up and release. All right. Do side two, rise up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, prepare, step your left leg back, straight leg lunge. Toes come to the wall if you're working the wall, right toes. And back. Feet are still hip width apart, not on tight rope. Lift your back heel high, come onto the toes of the back foot. And then bend, straighten, bend. Keep the back heel high. And you're light on your fingertips. The hands aren't holding you up. They're just keeping you from tipping from one side to the other. Or you're playing full balance. Lift the head of the arm bones. Keep everything, the spine just slides back and forth, side to side. It does not round, does not flex and extend. Spine is quiet. Nothing else moves but the legs. And your core has to work here to hold you up. All right. So come into either standing splits or warrior three. Step your blocks. So the leg can be parallel to the floor, or you can walk your hands back towards your foot and start to lift the leg higher. Keep rolling the outer left hip to the floor. Inner left thigh moves up faster. Oh. And hug your outer right hip in to lengthen the standing leg and lower the left leg down. Hands on your hips, shrug your shoulders, lift the head of the arm bones. Next, inhale, rise up. Woo. Is it final relaxation time yet? All right. All right. Yep, we're getting warm, right? Take a wide stance. And Ruby, this will be done partially on the chair, so you'll face the front of the room here. Wide stance. Have your blocks near you. I like to put them at each end that I don't have to go find them. We're having fun. Take a breath. So with the feet parallel, even a tiny bit pigeon-toed, heels are a little farther out, lift all 10 toes, and as you pull the inner edges of the feet towards each other, take the outer edges of the feet and wrap them down so they're even. You're not rolling one side or the other. Yeah. And there's that. So you're using the legs strongly. Inner thighs move back. They're already wide apart, but can you widen the upper, like you're trying to pull the inner edges of the thighs apart, tailbone down into that space. Turn your left toes towards the short edge of the mat. And Ruby, you can sit down and put your left thigh on the edge of the chair. There you go. Excellent. And then keep the whole back foot down, bend into warrior two. So the arms are in hip, about shoulder height. And Shelly, check your front knees going in forward of your ankle, which means you can take a wider stance. You can also, Shelly, here, do it here. Back it up. That's so much friendlier. I mean, why not be friendly to yourself, right? Who's going to be friendly to you if you're not? There you go. Find stability where you can, where you need it. Then reverse warrior two. The back hand pulls the inner right thigh up towards the ceiling. Lengthen the back leg. Bend the front knee more and curl back. Oh, yeah. Feel it, baby. Feel it. Come back up to warrior two. Place the left forearm on the left thigh, right hand on the right hip. And notice the tendency to drop all your weight onto this is strong within us. Nice. Lengthen the back leg a lot, particularly Ruby on the chair. It will tend to not, because it doesn't have to hold weight. You have to make it work. Nice. That looks good. All right. Find your block and maybe come down to the block and push into the feet. Hug the legs towards each other as you move towards straight. Triangle pose. Shoulders are stacked on top of each other. And the head is just looking straight ahead. So it's neither hanging down or trying to lift up. Find neutral, find quiet, find the place in the middle. Move the top and bottom of the ears back, the center back of the head back, not from the chin, but just straight back. Now engage. Oh. And then last one, revolve triangle. So both legs are straight. Revolve triangle. You will turn to look down at the floor. Walk your block out to the right a bit. Spin the back heel up, lift the back heel and step it forward a bit. So you're in this hamstring stretch. Both legs are straight. Putting a fair bit of weight on the right hand. The left hand draws the outer left hip crease back as you begin to spin towards the left, towards the front leg side. Oh, you feeling the IT band coming up on your side there? Oh, yeah. Next, inhale, release, spin back around, come to a wide stance to the center, and just take the weight off for a bit. Shelly, I want to do the next side on the chair, because Ruby's getting such a deeper stretch in here with the chair. I'm telling you, chair yoga is not for wimps. Yeah, it is. It really opens up the hips a lot. So just try it there. All right, now take a wide stance. Feet parallel. Turn your right toes towards the short edge of the mat. And so on the chair, your right thigh is just on the outer edge, just as close to the outer edge before you fall off. Then the back foot's really working and holding you down. The back leg on the chair, and even standing, wants to bend. But you work the outer edge. The one way to really connect to that is from the core of the pelvis, send the energy down the outside of the leg to the outer heel, tack it down, then tack the near the baby toe side down. Really pull it and then pull it in so you feel the inner thighs working. Stretch the arms out. Warrior two. Let's see if I remember the sequence. Bend the front knee a tiny bit more, but pull the ribs back. So the tendency, as soon as we bend the front knee, we tend to go forward. So it's though someone's pulling the back arm back a bit. And notice your arms. Are you trying to like strain them? Pull them a little bit so you can see them out of your peripheral vision. If you lose this back arm, it means you're straining the shoulder. If you're looking straight ahead, then look out over your right fingertips. Reverse it. Keep the legs as they are. Back leg still really strong and straight. Reach for your inner left thigh and pull it up, back and up. Then gaze up into the little mirror in the palm of your right hand. Breathe. Bend the front knee a tiny bit more. Work to the outer edge of the back foot a tiny bit more. Next, inhale, back to warrior two. Oh, come into Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. Hand on the hip, forearm on the thigh. Now, when you're on the chair, you scissor the legs as though you're trying to lift off the chair, but then lengthen up. So notice if you're collapsing here, push away. You may even push away from the thigh to lengthen the underside of the body. Stack your shoulders on top of each other. Center back of the head moves back. Nice. Beautiful. Then, find your block and straighten the front leg. Now on the chair, you might have to lift off or go strong. Like Shelly just walked her front foot farther so she can get a really big stretch there. Yeah, nice. So you're less weight on the chair, but you still got some weight on the chair. Breathe. Stack your shoulders on top of each other. Take the top and bottom of the ears back. So we tend to swing forward in this. So the inner thighs keep moving back and wide apart, but the shoulders come back over the hips, over the legs. Now revolved triangle. Turn, widen your left block out, and then step your back foot up a little bit. Come up high on your heel. The weight's on your left hand. The right hand is pulling the outer right hip crease back. Lengthen first on your inhale. So think long, long spine. Hug your shoulder blades on your back, and then spin your heart towards the right. Oh, and that's where you say, if you didn't know where your IT band was, that thing that's screaming up the side of your leg, at least mine, that's it. And breathe. Inhale, release, come back to center. Oh, and rise up, shake it off. Good. Come down to the floor or stay in a chair. I'll do some twisty things. Yeah, do a nice rise up before you come back down, baby. That's good. All right. Have a little seat on a blanket or a chair. Find your strap. Yeah. All right. Stretching the hamstrings a lot today. They can get really tight. I was sitting a lot at the computer yesterday, so trying to finish a book chapter. So it's like, of course, last minute. All right. Sit well. Nice manual inner rotation. Shelly, you can sit up on another blanket that will give you a little, so sit up on two. So if you're rolling back, Dan, you can sit up on a fold your blanket over, make it a little higher. Sure, you're good on that, but if it gives you more joy and space, I like a little extra lift on that. But you want to sit up. So Dan, you're still sitting back, bend your knees and sit up. That will help you sit up. Or you can see Ruby's got beautiful alignment because she's giving herself the space she needs to get up. So it's not about like having no blankets and sitting flat on the floor. It's about finding that elegance. My teacher, one of my first yoga teachers always talked about with grace and elegance. Do it with grace and elegance, not about how deep you go, but it's that sense of upliftment. All right, bend your right knee in, and again here, it's like tree pose. You can place the foot anywhere along the leg, the inner leg. Don't force it. And if this knee is really high, support it with a block underneath it so you're not straining the knee joint. Yeah, and so that's a good adaptation, Ruby. Good. Flex the left foot, lasso it, wrap, pull back so the chest comes through. You're hugging the elbows in, lifting the chest, and lift up and out of your hips. So you're use the strap to help you lift up. Then just tilt slightly forward from the hips. And the heel can stay on the floor, Ruby, on this one, if it will. There. It's like you're trying to move, you're lifting up and out. A lot of times what we do is we collapse down and get small. So lift up and out, get big, be big. That's all we can do right now, right? If we just curl up in our hole, then nothing's going to help. Nothing's going to get better. We have to get big. And then if you're not feeling that much in the hamstring, you can start pull your belly button back up and in and keep, it's like I'm lifting this up and over. The front part of the body does come forward, but only if you're not feeling anything in the hamstring. Nice. And then take both straps into your left hand, open your right knee even a little farther out or move the left leg out, whatever you want to do here. Pull with the hand so you can lift up and out, stretch the right arm up and over, take half beach babe style, elbows slightly forward, soften the armpit, and then with this hand, the left hand is helping you lengthen the spine as opposed to collapse it. So not so much down, but lengthen and until you feel a nice twist, stretch on the right side there. Oh. And push your head into your hand, Dan, particularly your head's coming forward. There you go. Not by lifting the chin, but by using the core all the way from the core. Yeah, pushing back. The chin lifts a little bit. It's not tucking, but it's not guided by the chin. All right. release. Oh. Moaning, my favorite chant. All right, shake it off. Side B. This foot can come bent in any way, anywhere along the leg that it works. If this knee is really high, you support yourself. If you're not going to support yourself, who will? So you find the ways you need to support yourself so you can feel a sense of grace and elegance. Doing this doesn't feel like I'm living large, you know? So live large, stretch it out. First one is straight up and over. If you're feeling anything right in behind the back knee, you want to feel the stretch in the belly of the hamstring. You might feel it in the calf, but in the belly of the hamstring. If you're feeling it right behind the knee, you need to use the muscles of the legs more to support the joint. And I suggest digging the heel down, pulling it back, and micro bending the knee, like even lifting the knee a fair bit so that you start to feel it in the hamstring right there where the tightness is. And particularly for me on this side, because an old hamstring attachment injury is coming up in this cold weather for some reason. It's when your body starts, you know you're old when your body starts to tell the weather, right? That's my, so you push down, pull back, oh, and find the stretch for you. Coming forward, maybe you don't need it. Maybe just sitting upright, lifting up and out of the hips, pulling the chest through. Ooh, I can find it there. Don't even have to tilt forward if I lift up enough. If you're not feeling it, chances are you're rolling back on your sits bones. Got to roll to the frontmost edge of the sits bones. Use the leg. And then widen it. So either widen you can even widen the front leg and then the knee back out. Even if you're out here, this is still good. If the knee's hurting, this is excellent. Any version. Take hold. So this is a pretty good pull, but not from the shoulders. Pull the elbow back so you can lengthen. If I'm doing it all from the shoulders, I'll start to shorten the spine. So lift up. And your right side now is the one that will shorten. So hold both straps in your right hand, Ruby. There you go. Nice. You can even use the chair behind you. Nice. All right. So keep the leg engaged. If you're feeling it right in, sometimes I start to feel it right in behind the back of the knee. Bend the knee a bit and pull the heel back. Now reach up and over. Beach babe, pull the elbow forward, pull the armpit in, press your head into your hand, and start to just arc just enough towards your right toes. So the right shoulder is heading towards the right toes. Pull your elbow in so you're not using your shoulder to do the pulling, using the sort of the core of the body, all connected there for a nice stretch on the left side. Oh, and then release. All right, roll to your back for a little wimpy core work. All right, so Ruby, you will do this in the chair and you'll sit up on the edge, but you'll lean back here. Yep, so put a block between the knees. Everybody else lie down, bend your knees, place a block between your knees. And so you're gonna lift up and come to your tippy toes and then squeeze, pull the belly button up and in, not with your shoulders, and see, you just play with that. Like maybe you can get the toes off the floor, or here's the other option, lose the block. Yeah, you can move back if you need to. Lose the block, just come to your tippy toes. Come to your tippy toes, lift one. Just the knee, not the foot, just pull the knee up just a bit. There you go, it won't go far, and then up. And everybody else, come to your tippy toes. So the back waist, try to lift the back waist off the floor. Belly button down towards the spine, but not flattening. You lower the back waist a tiny bit, but you're not releasing it. And in fact, just from here, release your back waist all the way to the floor, press it in. And now keep that and lift the back waist off the floor without softening the belly. Do you feel how that's even more intense to do that from 360 as opposed to just to the front? Then squeeze the block. Yeah, take breaks as you need to, Ruby. Squeeze the block gently, don't try to flatten it.
Arms in robot for now, bend the elbows, fingers out. That helps you lift your chest and helps you get your low back off the floor. But slide your side ribs towards the floor without flattening the back. And then airborne the feet. So draw the knees just over the hip sockets, not forward of the hip sockets, because that will flatten the back. Then flex the feet. You can stay here, keep drawing the belly button down, move it down, move it down, move it down. Bottom ribs slide towards the pelvis and the side ribs move towards the floor. If you want a little more work, lift the shins parallel to the floor, like you fell over in a chair. And breathe here. Arms in a T position. Roll your weight to your right bum. The left bum comes off the floor. But the ribs, the left ribs move back to the floor and the heart center moves back to the left. So that both shoulder blades are evenly weighted. Really super weight your left shoulder blade as the leg unit moving a little bit to the right. Doesn't have to go far for you to feel this. And release back to center. Roll to your left bum. The right bum clears the floor a tiny bit, both shoulder blades on the floor. In fact, super weight your right shoulder blade. Slide your right ribs towards the floor. If this is too intense, drop your heels towards your bum. That'll release a little bit. Still work the core. And inhale back to center. Release the block. Place your feet on the floor, windshield wiper. All right, so we can do that. So Ruby, are you finding adaptations to work your core? It is. It's not so easy in that chair. I find it a little easier on the floor personally. All right. All right, so round two, you can do the same thing we did there, or place the block between the knees. It just helps us. The block doesn't have to go between the knees. You can squeeze an imaginary block between the knees. In fact, let's just move the block out. Draw the knees up over the chest, arms out in T position. So be careful that the knees do not come forward of the hip bones. So Shelley, move your knees. There you go. Do you feel the core there? Move the knees back a bit. Keep the core, the back waist up, the belly button down. And then just from here, just tap one toe down slowly. Bring it up. Don't have any changes in your torso, your core, your abdomen, your low back. Then the other one, very slow tap. Breathe. Notice, because if you do it fast, the chances are you'll let go of the core and you'll just do stuff with the legs and then you'll strain other parts of the body in the back. Slow taps, one down, one up. Feeling it? Yeah. Soften the jaw. This is where the jaw starts to get really tight. The eyes bug out. The face starts to take it on. If your core gets tired, you just release, reset, and come back to it. All right, place the feet on the floor. Relax, rock back and forth a little bit. All right, you can stay at any one of these levels that you want to that is working best for you. Third round. How many rounds are we having? I don't know. All right, full beach babe. The head's resting in the hands. The knuckles are on the floor, but you're not smashing the whole weight of your head down into the floor so the knuckles don't get smashed. The head is lifted a bit, but it's being lifted by the hands, the arms, not by your neck. So he's just resting in the cradle. My knuckles are touching the floor, but there's not weight on the knuckles. The weight is in my hands. The head weight is in my hands. Now, neutralize the back. So the sits bones move towards your heels. The back waist lifts off the floor. The tailbone lengthens. Low belly drops towards the spine. Bottom ribs move towards the pelvis and the side ribs move towards the floor. Soften the throat. Come to your tiptoes. This may be where you stay. Squeeze an imaginary block between your knees. Flex your feet so the feet become airborne and just stay right there. And then As you lift, lift the, not, your hands are not lifting the head, that stays neutral. The heart is trying to reach towards the ceiling and release. Exhale, reach the heart to the ceiling and release. The elbows are not splayed out. You're pulling them a little closer up towards the ceiling rather than out to the side. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. If you want this to be a bit harder, shins come parallel to the floor. Lift and lower. So it's the heart that's lifting. I could do this just with the head and the core is not engaged. It's the heart's lifting towards the ceiling. And then if you want to add one more thing to it, you can stop at any point. You draw the right knee towards, not way in, but towards, and curl up a little bit. The right shoulder moves towards the left knee, and then inhale back, really super slow. Exhale. So it's a slight pull in to use the transverse obliques. Oh. Super slow. Slower is harder, we found. In exercise classes, they speed it up. And what happens is we lose an awareness of what's going on in the body when we go fast. As I say in my bar class, when they go fast, I go slow. Oh, and release. If you haven't had the sense to do that already, widen the feet mat width apart. Drop the knees over to the right. And just pause a minute. Inhale up to center. And drop the knees over to the left. And back to center. Walk the feet in more about hip width apart. Keep the left knee where it is. Open the right knee out to the side, clamshell. And then slide your right heel over towards your left sit bone, your left buttocks, as the right knee moves down. Now, Ruby, for you on this, let's see if I can approximate this without falling off. So start to move your right leg behind you. Yeah, so you might have to sit over to the side a little bit so you've got some room. The right leg behind you, starting to work the knee towards the floor. Do you feel some stretch across the front of the thigh here? Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be. Yeah, in fact, that's good. Like when you're sitting, just do that occasionally. All right, so you can stay here if you're feeling a little stretch across the front of the right thigh, the quadricep. So there's a couple of things you can do. One, you're stretching the right knee towards the short edge of the mat and down towards the floor. It may not go, probably won't go, but that's the direction you're moving it. So that leg is not just flopping there, you're working it. Engage your core, pull your belly button in. You can play with it by drawing your left knee a little closer into the chest and holding around the top of the knee there, the shin, top of the shin. And what will happen there is the right knee wants to pop up, so keep it down, keep working it down. And then another version I like as well is to rest the left foot on the inside of the right knee. Push the right knee up into the foot as the foot's pressing down a little bit. So don't let the foot be a bully, because you don't want to overstress that knee joint. You just want to put a little bit of pressure on it. Oh, and that opens up a lot of the psoas and the quadriceps. So any version along here where you're feeling a nice stretch is where you need to play. And release. Oh, stretch out both legs. Shake them off. Notice the difference between the two legs. Side B. Bend both knees. Place the feet on the floor. Open the left knee out to the side, and then slide the left heel towards the right sit bone. You might even be able to take hold of the right foot. That's not required, but it's just, if it's there, fine. If not, it doesn't matter. Stretch, really pull from the core of the pelvis, reach out through the left thigh, left knee, stretch it towards the short edge of the mat and down towards the floor. And that may be plenty enough. If you start to feel a pinch in the low back here, you've got to use more core. Lengthen the tailbone, draw the belly button in towards the spine, release it. Any version here works. One version is to draw the right knee up, push, hold the top of the shin there, push the right knee into the hands, and the hands are pulling it back as you keep stretching the left knee, the down knee, towards the short edge of the mat and towards the floor. Also counterweight, the right foot rest on the inner left knee. Don't let the left foot push too hard. Push back up into the foot. That really works the hip joint, the muscles around the hip joint as well. Strengthening and stretching. We want both, we need both. Just enjoy whatever piece of this stretch you have. The top of the thighs, quadriceps and the front hip flexors get very tight. It means the psoas is tight. When all of that is tight, your back can hurt. It affects your posture. And release. Shake it out. You choose your final relaxation. You can do regular shavasana, pull a blanket over you if you're cold, put your jacket back on. Or if you want to do, in my case, I'll be at the computer too much today, so I'll start my day with fish pose. So support yourself as you need. I live by the mantra, if I don't support myself, who will? Light out of your eyes. So again, you take the time to settle, to notice what in the body is resisting relaxing right now. I always have a part that it's just still up and running. So it's like when you walk around the house at night and switch all the lights off. Just slowly turn off the efforting, turn off striving. And just for these few moments, know that you are safe and you can release.
Begin to deepen your breath. Wiggling your fingers and toes, hands and feet, stretching, yawning, enjoying the luxury of waking up slowly, moving. Slowly draw your knees in, gently roll yourself to your side. Rest there for a few moments, enjoying this last little sip of nowhere to go and nothing to do. Being fully present in this moment. And rolling towards the floor, use the strength of your arms. Come to sit. Sit well. And take a moment and place your palms on top of your heart center, the sternum. Breathe into your palms. Find the comfort there of your own heart, your own strength. And then draw your palms together in front of the heart center. Namaste. Thank you, guys.